Hi, this is Natalie, and I am going to show you our project, the Pioneer Trail, and a little bit about it. What we've been working on this semester. So the first thing on the list is static class variables versus instance variables. And static class variables are called by their class name and the variable, and you can access a static class variable without instantiating it. So here is an example right here of a static variable that was created here. And so if we want to use that somewhere else in the program, we can just use it directly, like here, using the character name dot, and then just use it as part of a program. You do not have to instantiate it. Okay, so then a non-static variable is also known as an instance variable because you are creating an instance each time you use it. And this is what creates a new object, and it can be called from anywhere in the program. And with an instance variable, it must be instantiated. So an example of this is in my game control here. And here I'm calling something from the character control. And so I'm going to create a new instance of it and instantiate it by doing character control and giving it a name, and then using the word new and character control with the parentheses, and then I will create what I need out of it. So the cc dot add health random will go in to the character control and get the information out of the health points that we need. But first, since it's an instance, it has to be instantiated here. So the next thing is an array list. And I have an example of array list in my vehicle control. We decided to use the vehicle to store everything, so it's kind of like a moving supply list. And so for that reason, our vehicle is a good place to demonstrate an array list. And so array lists can be changed and added to and subtracted from, and so that's a good place to use it for supply items, because supplies are depleted and replenished throughout the game. And so here we have an array list for each of the different kinds of supplies also, so we can add and subtract to that throughout the game. So the next on the list is an array, and I have an example of that in my character control. And so there are only going to be 5 characters in our game, and there will always only be 5. They might be alive or dead, but they're not going to be renamed through the game, and we're not going to have more or less throughout the game. So that's a good spot to do an array, and this is what an array looks like. It's just named with the brackets, and then you can create all the elements or whatever at the beginning of the game, and then it will just stay that way throughout the game. Okay, finally there is an enum, and that is our supply type. Oh, actually I'm going to use the landmarks for this one. landmarks were good because the landmarks are all going to stay the same, and they're going to have the same name. We're deciding what they're called at the beginning, and so we can use those as a keyword to pull them up. And so this is our enum list of all the landmarks in our game. Okay, next on the list is how to throw, propagate, and catch. And so let's see where to put that. Okay, so the purpose of throw, propagate, and catch is to find errors and to prevent them from shutting down the program and creating all kinds of problems. And so an example here is of a throw, and it's throwing this character control exception that the main character object is still missing. This is in the control layer. And it throws it so it can propagate it up to the view layer where it's going to end up being caught. And so in the view layer are a lot of catch statements, try and catch statements, and the catch is going to catch anything that's thrown up from the other layers. Anything that got called from another layer into this class will be caught here and be shown in this level. And then the try statement means we're going to try this and see if it works and see if any errors are caught. And if there are errors caught, the catch statement catches it, and if not, then it does the statement as described. So next is a character stream versus a byte stream. So a character stream is for text files, and it does 8 bytes, and it processes text. So with the character stream, if you want to translate something from bytes, you would put it through an input stream reader, and it would come out as characters. And then the other way around, if you want something that's a character to come out as a byte, which is smaller, you would put it through an output stream writer. Byte files are good for raw data. They're binary files. They're smaller. They're not very useful for people to read, so they need to be translated. One example of a place that this is useful is actually in maybe the map of this game, because it doesn't need a whole lot of words, or it uses symbols and dashes, and it just uses little things. It doesn't have to be complex in order to create the characters on the map. So here is my view party health stats, and this is where I created this to write a character stream to a file. And yeah, that's about it for that. Okay, so this is writing a character file to an external string. So the first thing I did was get input from the user where they wanted this to be saved. So then I went in and did a try catch statement, and we're going to do to the print writer to write it to the external file. So I'm using the character array list, the character array to, that's the information that I'm getting, and so I created that, and then I created the report by doing lines, and the party health status report is the title, and then I have some columns here, and then I used a for loop to go through each of the characters in order to print it. So I use just I as the counter, and I'm going to go as long as there are characters to get information from. So then we go to the character, and then it's going to add 1 to the counter each time you print out a character's name, and it will start over, and then it will do the next character and keep going until there are no more characters left, and then it will print it to the report. And if there are any errors, they're caught in the catch statement. So this is our game. So just enter your name. So we do put my name in, and then we have the help menu and the load save game, and I'm just gonna go straight to play game. Career choice. We have some different options here. There's a carpenter, doctor, farmer, and each of these have different benefits that are kind of shown behind the scenes. There's a vehicle also, and there are different benefits to using a wagon versus a handcart. Names, you can go in and name each of your characters. So I'm just giving them the names of some of my kids. And then go back to the previous menu, and we can choose a start date and supplies. So you just go into each of these and choose how much you want. What the medical supplies are for healing. And there's a limit to how much weight, and there's also an amount of money that you can use. And some clothes. We're using wood for repairs, and things like that. Oh, I'm overweight, so I'll just do what I said. Alright. Okay, so now I'm going to go back so we can play the game, and T to travel. So now we have a whole list. You can go in and view your inventory and your travel status, and hunt and gather food and water. So I'm just going to continue on. So let's get started. So then you're going to have an opportunity to increase your faith, and there will be faith points awarded at the end of the game on this. But there's also a penalty, and so you have to decide what that risk is. So that is our game. You're welcome to look through it and enjoy, and thank you for watching my recording and for helping me out with this class this semester, and have a very Merry Christmas. Bye.